So the first job I've got today is actually to clean up the case, because I think there's a good chance I'm going to get this finished today. If I get this finished today, I want to put it back together so I can play with it for a little bit. So I need to clean it first, because obviously it needs to be dry before I can put the electronics back in. Let's get that focused more on the action and less on my lockdown gut. So the rubber membranes, they look okay, but the whole lot of this is just going to go right into here, and this is just dishwashing fluid. And we're going to do the same with this, but first off we've got to make sure that we haven't got any electronics in it, which of course we do, because it's got the battery terminals. So we just pop it all off and put as much as we can in there. That's going to make it awkward, because it looks to me like the speaker is kind of like melted on. This is where I usually have my wee camera here. Yeah, I'll just change the camera to the close-up shot. So yeah, that's sort of melted in here. I wonder if there's a way I can pop that out. Doesn't look like it though, it looks like that's stuck in pretty fast. Good scrub. And that's when you start to see it. Oh, that's not actually, is that or is it a scratch? You know? Actually looks like it could just be got. Anything that's really dirty or really stuck on, I might pull out some of the alcohol, make sure that gets cleaned properly. But just going to do it like this. Try and be careful not to get anything that I don't want to get wet. Not on Game Gear, this is again one that I got. Lo-Fi Tunes, it's not working again then, Spud, thanks for joining me. I wasn't sure if you were going to make it today. I can give you a closer view. So the residues all along here, you can still see a bit of it here. Oh, it's coming off very nicely with the alcohol on the toothbrush. But I've got to be careful not to overdo it. Residue is coming right off. I probably wouldn't do this. I certainly wouldn't use this as a regular cleaning agent. I'll do it in this case because of the sheer volume of residue. It's almost like it was wrapped in some sort of stickiness. There we go. Yeah, this thing's seen better days. This is really beat up. And it's not much I can do about it. It's not broken, it just looks like it's been through the wars. Let's try to dry in here. Ideally I would take this screen lens out and replace it, but I've not got a replacement here just now. Okay. can of compressed air will get any water out real quick. This is a place where I can dry it up. There we go. Now just to give the screen a clean. Sorry, I realise you're not getting to see the action. There we go. Okay, that's got rid of the dust on this side, but well, at least this I can see, but it is really scratched up. It's not going to be in good condition no matter what I do to it. But it will be, I don't know. God, that is in terrible condition. You can really see just how scratched up this thing is. Thankfully there's a growing aftermarket for these parts, which is good. It even looks like someone's tried to, it looks almost melted in some points. Oh jeez, this thing has seen better days. But there we go, it's cleaner than it was. There's a little bit of moisture in here, but there's not much I can do about that. Hopefully that will dry out while I'm doing the other parts. So we put that to the side and move on to the next one. I've been very excited about this all week because I'm hoping today's the day I'll finally get this running. We'll see. The Game Gear came with a wee carry handle that goes along the bottom of it, and I remember having it when I was a kid, but no idea what happened to it. And the weird thing is that I don't appear to be alone in having lost this, because very few of the Game Gears, I keep saying Game Boy, very few of the Game Gears I see online have the original carry handle. I've seen a couple of people who have made a replacement, but I would quite like to get that sorted out. All the residue seems to be in the front. No residue in the back, which is very weird considering the sheer volume of residue that there was in the front. Like some massive stickers have been put on it. Nice clean battery compartment, which is very good. These little T-squared bits here, there used to be a little metal bar you could get to stand the Game Gear up. Why would you stand the Game Gear up? The answer is because it has a TV adapter. You could plug a TV adapter into the Game Gear and you could stand it up and watch it like a television. And that's actually what this little bit here is. This has got something to do with the TV adapter, I think. I can't remember exactly what. But not all the Game Gear models were compatible with the TV adapter, and if it doesn't have this little screw hole here, I should put on the advanced scanner. If it doesn't have that, I believe the Game Gear TV adapter doesn't work. So that's one of the things to look out for. I think the Majesco, the American version, didn't work with a TV adapter. So yeah, just drying this off now, and then we'll get back on with the mainboard. I've put quite a lot of thought since last week into how we're going to deal with these components, and I have a plan, and I'm going to give it a try today. Just to make sure that I've dried this out as much as I can. That really is, you guys can't really see it, so let me just move this to the side slightly. I'll try and do more stuff in camera, in view. glue or scratches? Nope, that's scratches. Yeah, this thing is just really dinged up. Not too easy about that. But hey, it was pretty grubby and it was not working when I got it, so anything is better than the state I got it in. If I clean the muck off and it's just scratched, that's an improvement. If I try and fix it and fail, at least I've tried. But I'm pretty optimistic about actually fixing it. Things have been going really good so far. Not damaged anything that I know of. Qualifiers every bit. But yeah, let's just try and blow any water out. Just this over here. Scrubbed out. I will say, even though this Game Gear was in pretty bad condition, it came with the original battery covers, which is pretty rare. These little plastic bits here very frequently broke. It's not very rare to get one with both battery covers, but it is notable. It wasn't a uniquely Game Gear thing, same applied to the Game Boy. These sort of battery covers are notorious for breaking. Here comes the infamous D-pad. It's not a D-pad, according to Sega's lawyers. So if anybody missed that last week, Nintendo had the D-pad patent. So Sega argued that this design, which is round rather than cross-shaped, and sat on a sort of metal, well, it was metal in later versions of this, I think it's just plastic, sat on a metal fulcrum of some sort in the middle to balance it. They claimed that that was sufficiently different from Nintendo's design that it was not a D-pad. This was back in the when the console was, the original console were in full swing. There's a good book about that, but I've not read it. I think it's actually just called Console Wars. If you mean to read it. There's a power switch. Is that focusing on these parts, or is that focusing on the bucket of water? Let's focus on the stuff I'm cleaning rather than the bucket of water. That would be a good idea. Here come the wee membranes. Don't want to get any alcohol anywhere near those, because I'm pretty sure it will just destroy it. So this here is the D-pad membrane. I'll show you that in greater detail in a few minutes once I've got rid of this bucket of water. Pretty much done with this. I just need to get one more of these out. Hold on, am I missing one? No, I've got 1, 2, 3 for the buttons. That's a switch. Okay, great. I guess I should be done with this. What I was just going to do was I was going to show you the differences between Nintendo's D-pad design and Sega's. I don't know what you call it, because I think they're all D-pads. I do think the Nintendo one was superior. I've been playing a lot of the original, shoot, what's it called? I'll show you in a minute. Let me just get these all nice and dry. Make sure there's no residue in these. No, they're alright. That looks a lot cleaner than it did, I'll tell you that. Nice and shiny. That was really grubby when I pulled it out. Very, very filthy. Right, okay, so almost done drying these, and then I'll explain what I was going to explain, the differences between Nintendo and Nintendo's patented D-pad design and Sega's attempt to replicate it without infringing on that patent. Which is how I understand it went down. I could be mistaken. But this design wasn't designed for the Game Gear, it was designed for the Mega Drive, I believe. or one of its predecessors. So, okay. So what I've got here is my, oops, a little bit dirty, Link's Awakening in my McWill modded Game Boy Color. Seems a little bit dirty. That sounds great, I do love this thing. Takes a few tricks to get it up and running, but gosh, I do love it. Looks great. And who doesn't love that tune? Looks fantastic. I really am very chuffed with the result of this. Although I think that the McWill screen draws too much power and I probably would have used a different screen now. I'm very chuffed with the result of this anyway. So this is your Nintendo classic D-pad. It's a cross shape and you can put your finger in it and it moves around and there's a wee dimple in the middle of it, right? And the whole thing you can sort of press down because underneath it there are just 4 buttons, kind of like this membrane. The difference being, if you excuse me a second, I've got a bunch of spare membranes kicking around. I think I've got a spare D-pad sitting right here. So Nintendo's D-pad has a wee notch in the corner so it gets oriented correctly because it's slightly asymmetrical to cope for the fact that it's at the edge of this here. So it's slightly bigger in one direction, this direction here. And it's got this tiny little dimple on it and it rocks around on top of that, right? And that's it, right? So Nintendo, again, Sega's variant of that looks, let's base it, it's fucking identical, isn't it? Right? It's got, oh yes, this version has got the nipple here, or the bit here that it sits in and rocks on top of, and that goes through. That is identical. I don't know how the hell they got away with this. I can't even remember if they did get away with it. They certainly argued in court these were 2 different things. I can't remember if they ended up paying royalties on it. But yeah, what they eventually did was they eventually put a metal bearing here, and the D-pad sat on top of it. But those are identical really, aren't they? Right. And I've got this here, which I did last week. This is the audio board. Removed all 5 of the capacitors here. Very nice job. I'm quite pleased with that. At some point I realised, well, hold on, the kit I've got has got through-hole components to replace with. That's how I'm going to put these on here. So I've been thinking about that and I've got a plan. The plan is fairly straightforward, and here's the screen and the system. I realised after the stream yesterday I had the screen hanging off and pulling about the whole thing, and I checked during the stream to see if I could secure the screen with the screws, and I somehow completely missed the actual bracket for holding the screen in place, which is what the screws went into, not the casing. So there we go, all in one place, all nice and secure. So I've removed all the capacitors in this. I was quite pleased with the result. It all cleaned up very well, including the parts that had the capacitor fluid on it, electrolytic fluid. So this one here is the worst, but it cleaned up pretty good. I don't know if that's going to focus on that, but I'm fairly happy with the result and I think it's sound. Right, so here's my plan. My plan is to fold the pins about 90 degrees so that they're angled out, solder them on to the pads, and then gently push it down flat where it's supposed to be. So in other words, you end up with like a 180 degree bend here in the pins coming around. Most people, what they do is they just snip them and then they solder them on like that wherever they'll fit, which doesn't look very good. Now the audio board, it doesn't have that type of layout. It had capacitors that sat flush with the surface, so I'm just going to try and bend them 90 degrees each way and put them on. So the first thing I need to do is tin all the pads on the board, given the screen is at the other side of it. Easy. Is it flowing good? That's fine, that's fine, that's fine. There you go, done. Right, so that's the first read on capacitor. It's not perfect, but I'll get it better as I go along. I should change that back to the close-up view, shouldn't I? So, where are we? There we go. First one done in. It's not perfect, but it will do. Nice shiny join on the existing pads. Not too long, not stretched out. Hopefully, crucially, it will not hit any of the other parts that will have clearance. That's what I'm most worried about. This one in particular has got clearance issues because this is the back of the D-pad. Okay. I feel like I'm using a little bit too much of the solder. It's quite hard to do because this is the first time I've tried to weld a surface mount. Looks like a lot. I think it's actually less than it looks, just because it's so shiny. But it's in. It's clearance. It's perhaps too much clearance. Yeah, maybe that could be cleaner. Come on, focus on this part here. Right, okay. Moving on to the other side of the board, that's those two. So next up, on this side of the board, we have got, let's start with the big one, which is up here. This is the hardest one to get to, and this is one of the ones that leaked. It's actually still looking a little bit dirty in there. Thought I'd cleaned up pretty successfully last week. And make sure that I can let everybody see it at the same time. Okay, that's in. Not as convinced by that one. I don't think it's made the perfect connection with the pad on account of the leaked electrolytic fluid. It looks like it's leaked around. Yeah, lockdown here. It looks like it's leaked, not leaked, sorry, it looks like it's flowed to try and get away from where it's kind of hard to see, but I've put the solder on here. Oh dear, 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 dear. I put the solder on here, and there's a whole pad here for it to flow around, and it's avoiding the edges. The same for that here. It seems to be focused in the middle of the pad, which is, you know, not a big deal. I just hope it's a good connection. I'll just give that a wee clean later on. I've probably left too long, the legs too long in that. I should have shortened them a little bit more.
But yeah, there's not much else up there for it to interfere with. It should be okay. What the hell is that? Just noticed some white. What the heck is this? White shit here? I hope that's not electrolytic fluid that I've moved around. Let me give it a scrubby scrub. That just came off the cotton pad I was just using. It's just come right off, whatever it is. And it appears to have come right off. Yeah, it's holding the air clean before I solder it anyway. It's not going to hurt, is it? Right, so this has gone quite well so far. At least I don't know if I've screwed anything up. What that light stuff was. Ah, it looks utterly pish. It's hard to tell, but I should turn this board. Sorry folks, I know you'll be able to see very clearly, but I can't keep fucking around with this one bit. I'll damage something through the heat. There we go. Right, okay. That's better. Okay, that was very, very fiddly, and it wasn't fiddly because of the size of the component or the way I did it. It's fiddly because of where it's located. It's right next to another capacitor, and I'm trying very hard not to bridge a gap. You can't even see it because it's underneath it, that one there. But I think I did the right job, so now hopefully I can gently move this down. Okay, that's it done. Again, it looks like a big old blob of solder there, doesn't it? But it's hard to really see, to be honest. It's not as bad as it looks, I can assure you that. There we go. Oh, tinned. No, this one. C45. There you go. Tinned. There you go. That saves a wee bit of time, doesn't it? Saves me from screwing it up. Right, go on, go on, go on. Make a nice little flow. Pretty sure this component actually should connect to the part where it could potentially bridge, so I'm less worried about that here. Actually, it's more worrying on the other side. We're alright, it's not going to bridge, it's going to be all fine. know why it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine because we're using flux. It's all fine if you just use flux. I'm going to put a wee bit more over here just to make sure. There we go. And it's bonding with the pads nicely, which is good because that's the one that I thought was the biggest risk of falling to bits. And then if I just put my pincers in so I don't put too much pressure on the base, and I fold that over, there we go. Ta-da! There we go. They're quite big components. Slightly worried about the clearance here, but it should be clearance here, but it should be okay, I think. Don't see, doesn't look like there's any bridges there. That one's going remarkably easy. Right, mostly because I've got tons of space around this one, so I'm less worried. Oh, I'm going to be very happy when this is done. Easy. Loads of space around there. Next one's C39. Let's get that one done. Hopefully that one will be just as easy. We're really battering through this at that. We're on fire. Right, so that just sort of tacks in with the first part. And then I solder the other part in properly. Again, flux, not forget my flux. I wonder if I can get you like a closer view of this. Can I zoom right in what I'm doing? Let's try it. Okay, that'll have to do for now. So this one here, C39, is what I'm doing. Try and move a wee bit closer to the bottom of the screen. So here's what I'm doing. Heat the pad and the leg, not the solder on. There you go. Flows nice and neatly around it. Should be nice and neat. And then the other side of it, which isn't tacked in but could be better, just want to add a bit more solder to it. Make sure that it's nice and well connected. I think maybe that one's sticking out very slightly. That looks great actually. That's an extreme close up here. Can I position that? No. There we go. So there you go. I know it looks like there's a lot of solder on there. I did too when I was looking at other people's work on these things. I now realise it's actually because the leg is under the solder. You're looking at a bit of a pin with a blob of solder on top of it, which is why it looks like there's so much, but there's really not. It's in, but perhaps a little too close. There we go. Yep, that looks good. There's a wee bit of plastic here. I've got to be careful not to melt it. Has something you've said been censored? I just say C star star star. we go, that's going in quite nicely, I think. We're almost there. 2 more and then we'll be moving on to the audio board. There we go. I know it doesn't look super pretty, but I think it doesn't look too bad. Right, we're on the last 2 now. Perfect. Okay. Okay, there we go. Right, last one. We're almost done. Oh, I'm excited. It'll be super tricky to get in. There goes nothing. Okay, sorry folks, sorry if you can't see. This one is very tricky. Okay, that should do it. And that's it, done. Just going to give it a wee clean up now, get rid of the flux. Clean that up, brushy brushy. Do love a good brushy brushy brushy. Okay, turned that, ready to go. Okay, here we go, come on, I can do this. Hold it. God damn it, let's try these tweezers. Hold it. That's alright. It's very, very tight. Hopefully I've left enough space. For the mainboard. I mean height clearance, you know. Slightly worried about clearance, but okay, there you go. So yeah, it sticks up quite far, but I know that there needs to be enough clearance for this connector, so I think that's probably going to be fine. I'm not too worried about that. Right, so next one up is C4. Very tricky to get into these. Sort of thing when you wish you had like a reflow station or something. I'm not probably about shit work of this. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about it. This is going to be a bit fragile. Went in really easily, that was lucky. Or maybe I'm getting better. Yeah, I probably look right. Okay, there we go, perfect. There we go. That's close enough. Come on, man, let's go on there. Is that a good connection? It's not ideal. There we go, I fixed it. Okay, good. On the last one now. Last one. There we go. Banging, and it was. There we go, almost there. There we go. Yes, looks fragile a bit, but yeah, I don't have the right. Well, I do have the right components, but they're just not the same type as the originals. I think that's all alright. Get a wee clean up. Whew. Let's get to it then. purple jelly beans as they fall. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Right, here we go. Here we go. Golden spinner. I think is it not in the same family? Yeah, it's a spinner. There we go. Could have been worse. Could have been better. Okay, good. Elliot Cole's well worth checking out. He does a lot of really good videos, and his production quality is excellent. Natural's great as well, but Elliot's a sweetheart. I love the fact that he just loves retro tech. So he's got like mini disc players and all sorts of stuff that otherwise would be in a tip. And I just find that appealing. Okay. And enter clearance problem number 1. Oh dear. Is that surmountable? How much of a problem is that going to be? You can't really see it, but here, this plate here, I think that's going to be a pretty big problem actually. Let's see what I get to without it. Okay. That's the power board connected. I got to connect my half-mounted audio chip. Oh, you can't really see this all that well. Turn it around then. There you go, perfect. That's it. It does appear that it fits together just fine. So I'm just inspecting on the inside to make sure that there's enough clearance between the new capacitors and the support posts. But it looks fine. I don't want to overstress these screws because this thing was, I mean, it had a service manual. I wanted to be able to repair it, but you know, it's very old plastic, it's quite brittle. There you go. That is, it feels reassuringly heavy reassembled, especially compared to something like a Game Boy. Right, I just need to find my, I'll be right back. Need to go find a power adapter, I'll be right back. I couldn't tell if there was metal threaded inserts. No, there's not. They are self-tapping plastic screws, yes. Into, I don't know if this is painted, but it's silver on the backside and then black on the outside. So I don't know what process they used to make it, but yeah. It's lighting up. I'm not seeing anything on this. Oh, got sound but no screen. Screen's totally empty. It does sound good though. Sounds crisp and clear, which is pretty good. Hold it to the microphone. Right, okay. Try with batteries again. Nah, it's working. It is. The electronics are working, but the screen is dead. Got sound, and we've got horizontal lines across the screen. I'll try and diagnose. Oh, actually, hold on. Oh, I've got partial image. You can only see it from a very extreme angle though. Look, watch it. You can actually see it's responding as well. I've done that. Hold on. Maybe it's just a demo reel. Right, I think that's it for now. I think that's a bit of an unsatisfactory ending, but it's not the end of the road for this Game Gear. I will finish putting the screws in and I'll debug the specific issue we've got. It does sound good. And it's actually stereo. There's one speaker in here, but if you plug in headphones, there is stereo audio. Why would you use that? I don't think very many game developers did. Yeah. I'm pleased at least with that outcome. Right, I think that's it for the night, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me.